Welcome to the Austin Biz Buzz, the podcast that builds the buzz about Austin business. So kick up your feet and turn your brain on. It's time to talk Austin business right now. Here's Herdy.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Austin Biz Buzz. We build the buzz about Austin business. And believe it or not, Mike, it's been over a year since you sponsored the Austin Biz Buzz. It's hard to, it's been since April last year. I am have my virtual doorsteps graced by the presence of Mike O'Neill tonight. And to tell you all a little story, he's the guy you see on the brand, on the logo for the Austin Biz Buzz. It's up on iTunes, Google Music, YouTube, the podcast platform, and also his insert ads. So Mike O'Neill, the MoneyCoach, baby, I got him on.
Hey, Herdy is glad to. It's good to be here, man. I really enjoyed it. Really glad to be here. It's been a while since you and I have talked. Been a while since you and I've done a broadcast here. So
well, and you travel, so much, or have been traveling so much that it's been kind of crazy, right? That we used to sit down all the time, but now we see each other every once in a while. But the cool thing is you wanted to catch me up a little bit. You're changing your business a little bit, correct?
Well, the world changes, right? And
big time.
and the COVID-19 stuff has changed, I think, the world of training quite a bit. I did a bunch of training, a bunch of consulting. I was on the road probably 35 weeks out a year out of the past, in the past 6 years. So I've been doing a bunch of traveling. I've actually taught in traveled or consulted, taught in 48 states now. I've missed Delaware, which I don't know, don't mean to disparage anybody, but Delaware is kind of small, so I haven't been in Delaware, and I haven't been in Alaska.
Really?
I kind of, I would love to go to Alaska. I really would. But other than that, I've been in the other 48 states, including Washington, D.C., doing a lot of consulting and traveling. And that came to a screeching halt in March.
Yeah. And so that kind of leads us into what you're doing nowadays. So just like all of us, Mike, first of all, let's give them your contact information before we get started, how they can find you, your website, all the vitals for people to find you.
Great. Yeah. Well, the easiest way to get hold of me is through my website, and that's www, obviously, .mkoneal, MKONEAL.com. Pretty easy. So it's my name, Michael Kevin O'Neill. So mkoneal.com. You can send me an email directly at mike@mkoneal.com, and that would get to me. If you want something you need to talk about, you want to have a little free session or something like this, there's actually a space there right on my website where you can go in and just say, hey, schedule some time with Mike, and it gets you on my calendar real easy. So lots of ways to get hold of me. I'm not that hard to find once you head in the right direction.
Yeah. So as COVID-19's affected all of our business, including yours. So how has it affected my good buddy, the MoneyCoach, huh?
Well, basically what happened is that I was doing a bunch of training, and then in March, of course, what happened is that they pulled us, all the training came off the road, right? So we all kind of came home and huddled down and kind of waited to see, geez, what's going on here in the world? How's this going to affect us? We still did training and are still doing training. It's just that what's happened is most of our training, our consulting has now been via Zoom. It's been via GoToWebinar, something of this nature. So it's been, just over electronic mediums, which has worked out actually remarkably well. It has been kind of interesting because now when you have a class, if you've got a public class, like I do some teaching on typically the small business owners about reading and understanding their financial statements. One of the classes that I teach. And when we do that type thing, I'll have people from all over the United States now, as opposed to just having people in one small section. So, I've had classes where I've had people from Florida and New York and California and South Dakota and Texas and Oklahoma, all in the same class, and it's kind of different just because you're getting a lot of different points of view. You know?
Yeah, and so I guess the negative thing is you don't get to travel and have fun on the road. The good news is you're getting a different audience now because of this COVID-19, right? That's coming in from all over the country.
Sure.
Does that include international some too? Because you've done some international stuff.
I have done some international stuff. I've actually taught on a couple of different continents as well as offshore. Hey, you know, and you know, on a cruise ship type thing. But yeah, you know, it's been kind of different. We've had people from, I guess you could say, all over the world. A lot. Well, I'll say it's primarily the United States, but not certainly only the United States. So a lot of people from different parts there. And it's been more than just training, you know, and that's one thing that's been really cool is that we've been doing more one-on-one consulting now. So
Right.
and because we're doing less training and the training, I don't have to travel. You know, travel's a two-edged sword, man. Let me tell you. You know, I've had travel where I said, wow, you know, it was great that you got up to Washington State. What's Washington State like? And if you go there during the colder months, Washington State looks like the inside of a Holiday Inn, and however far your headlights go, right? And so, you know, I mean, travel's kind of a two-edged sword. But you know, some of the cool thing about it is being able to do this consulting. It frees up some time. So now we're able to do a lot more one-on-one consulting. You know, with it, whether it be business consulting or personal consulting, personal financial consulting, and we're able to do that a lot more now. We started off with there, and we're able to kind of do that a whole lot more. That's good. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, and so being on the road for the last 6 years, you know, and you do these Zoom conferences, and then you're at home because you're not able to travel. So what does Mike do when he's not doing his classes? What have you been doing?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. I've picked up some additional work. I've got involved now with Dave Ramsey. I'm sure you're familiar with Dave Ramsey and the
Never heard of him.
Stuff,
no,
right?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, all the stuff that Dave Ramsey does. I've actually done some work with him, and I'm now what they call a Ramsey preferred coach. So that's been kind of fun. You know, get involved in that. Been doing some more webinars from a free webinar type situation where what we're doing is we're just providing free information out there, both from a business standpoint and a personal, you know, financial standpoint. So we've been doing a lot of business, you know, here. But like a lot of people, hey, I've done, you know, more stuff around the house. We have a back patio and a front patio that we didn't have here in March, you know, so I
remember I got the tour, and you had not that long moved in, and the back porch was kind of like, well, I'll get to it when I stop traveling.
Right,
okay, right. There you go.
Well, now it's beautiful. It's really nice, and I call it my larger office now because I can actually go out there, and it's gorgeous. So
that's,
you know,
cool, man.
That's cool. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
And what has changed now? You mentioned Ramsey Coach, right? Preferred coach. And I guess that's part of what's changed for the MoneyCoach. You started off when we first met several years ago, where you were showing couples and married couples and people how to stay on track and how to eliminate debt and get themselves financially on track. Is that now a big part of what you're doing since you're back locally? Yes. And
it's really I enjoy doing the business stuff. I really do. And I've been doing that for quite a few years, but let me tell you, you know, a lot of my passion has to do with helping couples. And with this COVID-19 thing, it's faced with a lot of additional challenges. You know, some people have lost their jobs. Some people have had money that has been, cut in half. Some cut in a third, all of a sudden.
Some not at all.
Right. Yeah, some not at all. Right. You know, nothing comes in. And you all have to handle that. And how do you handle that? And that's, that's been something that's been really tough with a lot of people here is that, your biggest, for lack of a better term, I'll say your biggest wealth generating engine is your income. And if suddenly you don't have that income, it's kind of like, now what do I do? And how do I prioritize what's going to happen, who gets paid, that's going to have as little long-term effect on me as possible. It's some tough decisions. You got some tough things going on. So let's make those decisions on an intelligent basis, right? So that not only can we take care of stuff now, but we can take care of stuff in the future.
And you had mentioned, you kind of dibbled into the consulting thing earlier when we were talking. Can you kind of give me more of an overview on this, the kind of consulting you do? Is it one-to-one? Is it physical, meaning it's in person? Is it on Zoom only? Is it through a long-term program? How are you working your consulting business right now?
Well, on both the personal and the business side, what we try to do is we try to meet the people where they are. I mean, I don't know what they need, right? So let's talk about personal for just a second. I don't know where you're at, right? So what we tend to do is we tend to spend the first, first meeting just figuring out, geez, where are you? And I'll send you some spreadsheets to kind of fill out so you can kind of get an idea, so we don't waste time on that free consulting call. And the first call that I have is always free, because I don't want to, I can't know if I can help you until I get to know you, right? So it doesn't make any sense to charge for that. So basically the first consulting call is always free. We talk about what you're doing, where you're at, where you want to go, what your situation is, and everybody's different. And then it may be that what you need is I really need to just give me some ideas about where I need to go. Right. So let's get kind of that introductory session out of the way, and then let's talk for maybe a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, and let's just figure out where you need to go. And we can do that. And if that's all you need, awesome. Right. And we take care of you. You may be in a situation where most of us is that, what I need to do is not that hard, but doing it, executing it is kind of tough. Right. It's kind of like we all know that we need to, most of us know we need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. How do you lose weight? Well, you go exercise more and you eat less. That's not hard, but the execution's pretty tough.
Yeah. So I kind of assume there's some hand holding through this consulting.
Absolutely. Kind of what we do is if you need more than just the 2-hour meeting, and most of us do, then what we do is we put you into like a 6-month program. And that 6-month program, you get a variety of things here. You get some hand holding every month from us, on a one-on-one basis. You also get, some. I hold a class once a month that you can come to, where you can just come and listen with everybody else that's in the programs. People are in different places, and they'll come up with different ideas, and they'll give you some ideas. But you have free training every month. So you get some one-on-one time, you get some group time, and then I've got a free, also just a free session every month. And of course, you're welcome to come to that too, all of my clients. So you actually have an opportunity to touch base with them multiple times, some in group sessions and some in a one-on-one session. So what it does is it enables you to not only know what to do, but it enables you to make sure that you have your personalized program and somebody holding your hand and pointing at you. And sometimes that's not holding your hand, it's holding your hand and kicking you in the backside, right? Sometimes it's holding your hand and just pointing this direction and go, I don't know. But, we do whatever is needed but for our clients.
Little coaching with attitude.
Well, and have you ever known a coach that didn't have a little attitude?
That's correct. Hey guys, we're about halfway through Mike's questions, and this is Mike O'Neill, the Money Coach. And just to bring some people up to speed that are just joining us, Mike, why don't you run through your contact information if you don't mind, sir?
Sure. You can get a hold of me from a website at www.mkoneal, that's MKONEAL.com. It's the easiest way to get hold of me. Go in there, you can check, you can see, kind of get some ideas about what we do and how we do it. You can also get hold of me from an email standpoint at Mike, M-I-K-E, at mkoneal.com. That would get to me directly. So not hard to get hold of.
Super. Mike, thank you. We're getting into the second half of questions. Mike O'Neill, the Money Coach. He's been the sponsor of the Austin Biz Buzz. I'm so happy to have him on the podcast tonight. And Mike, we're still under some COVID-19 restrictions, which kind of limits some of the stuff we can do. You want to dive into that just a little bit?
Well, sure. So um, there's some downsides, obviously, with the COVID-19 restrictions. It's harder to go grab a cup of coffee, and you kind of got to be a whole lot more careful when who you hug and and things of this nature, right? But the other upside of it is when we do our consulting, we do most of our consulting now via Zoom or via phone. So you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to, you're doing it in the comfort of your own home. You can sit on your couch if you want to, or sit at your dining table if you want to do it that way, or sit at your office, right? Whatever you want to do. So it's a much more kind of relaxed type situation. One of the things that happens when you meet in a restaurant or something like this, you always have, seems like, people interrupting you or somebody coming to take your order. Is everything okay? This type of stuff, right? They're doing their job as well. Well, in this case, what you're doing is you're doing it in your own home. So there's fewer interruptions. You're also freer to talk, because what happens a lot of times if you're in a public place or even in an office, and we did a lot of our meetings and conference rooms and things of this nature, we're talking about some personal stuff, and we're talking about your personal finances, and we want to be careful, and you want to be careful about who you do that to. So here, doing this through Zoom or GoToMeeting or in phone calls, you're in your home, so you're as private as you're ever going to be, and that's kind of a good thing, right? And I've got some stuff that I'll be sending to you. You don't have to worry about using a public computer to implement this stuff in. You can implement it on your system at home and send it to me. So it's all very, very private, and that's important, because we are talking about your stuff. We're talking about some private things.
So Mike, so one of the things that imagine you have to work through with people is that a lot of folks, will not come and get financial consulting or help with their finances because they're embarrassed, maybe they got themselves into some bad debt, right? So how do you work with, there's a lot of these consultants all over the place, correct? I mean, tons of them. So how do you make a difference with those folks, or how do you just make a difference, period, with the people you work with?
Who among us doesn't have debt? Right, and almost all of us got debt, right? Some of it a lot, some of it a little, some of it just house debt, some of it because of medical issues, some of it because of credit cards, cars, some of it because of student loans, right? I mean, we're all there. And if we're not there now, we've been there in the past. We're all there. So, I'm not here to judge. What I'm here to do is try to give you some direction. Now you're right. There's a couple of things that you got to be careful of when you start talking about finances, and people don't tend to want to talk about finances, personal finances, things that you don't talk about. Sure. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about money, right? These are things that maybe our parents told us we don't talk about. And now we're talking about politics all the time,
right. Money and everything else all the time.
Right? Right. Yeah, all the time. And religion seems to be, on everybody's kind of chopping block too. And money should be. And one of the problems we have, if we don't talk about money, then we don't get very good at it. And neither do we don't learn about it. We don't teach our kids about it. We don't teach ourselves about it. And this is all bad, because this is going to affect you and your entire life, promise, right? So we need to get over that. And let's talk about money again. I'm not here to judge. Now, in the financial industry, basically you have three kinds of folks in the financial industry. And they all call themselves, or most of them call themselves, some financial planners or something of this nature, right? The one group that you have there is people who sell insurance, right? They sell life insurance, health insurance, and those things are all important. They're, so don't get me wrong, they're all important, and they serve a function.
They're part of the financial plan.
They are. But what they're going to do as a general rule is they're going to sell you what gives them a commission, because they're commission salespeople, right? So one of the things you need to ask anybody that you're talking about your finances, anybody you need to ask them, how do you get paid? And if you talk with them about how you get paid, one, if they won't tell you, you need to leave, because that's important, right? And they're going to get paid either from a commission standpoint by selling you products, which means they're a salesperson, Okay, and I don't have any problem with salespeople, but you need to understand again where they're getting paid and where their motivation is. So they're going to sell you what they have. So that's the one kind of person, the insurance guy. The second kind of person, is your actually your financial planner. Retirement Planners of America or Fisher Controls or something of this nature, right? And these are people that are fiduciaries, and they are there to do some consulting to help you figure out your money situation. And the way they get paid is they get paid based off a percentage. Usually it's 0.5 to 1.5% of your total portfolio. So they're going to just, as a general rule, if you're there with $100,000, they're going to be less interested in you than somebody that's got $1 million, right? I mean, again, you need to figure out how they get paid. So they get paid as a percentage of your total portfolio. And if they do well, if you do well, then they do better. But it's a small percentage. But you need to understand that's how they get paid. So the way that I get paid is I get paid a coaching fee directly from my clients. So I'm not going to sell you anything except my time. So I'm not going to sell you an annuity. Now, I know people who sell annuities, and that may or may not be important to you. I'm not going to sell you any mutual funds. I'm not going to sell you, index funds. I'm not going to sell you any particular stock. We may talk about that, right? Because that's part of your plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you understand what you might need to do to do what's best for you long term. And part of that's going to be, hey, we need to build you a financial plan. We need to kind of think about what are your investments, and are you investing? If you're not investing at all, how do you start? How do you get started with that, right? Who do you know? Where do you go, right? Maybe I don't want to get invested because the stock market's been kind of crazy. Maybe I don't want to do that. I don't know, but the way I get paid is I get paid directly to you to help walk you through this journey. And anytime you're dealing with anybody, anytime you're dealing with any type of a consultant, right? And I don't care whether it's a business consultant, a personal financial consultant, a consultant on building your house, you need to find out how they get paid, because that's going to tell you something about their motivation. Kind of important.
Yeah. And so a couple things just came to mind when you talk a little bit about that is, if somebody wants to just start with you right now, they hear this, they contact you, and y'all set up a time to meet. Is that basically how it starts with you? It just starts with a phone call. It starts with just we get to know you session, a little handshake, and we go from there, right?
Absolutely.
There's a match, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Pretty simple. So we talk, and it doesn't cost you anything to talk. We sit down and we talk and figure out if there's some way that I can help you. And that answer may be yes, it may be no. But what I find is that the worst thing that most people will do about their finances is nothing, right? And the most likely thing that people will do with their finances is nothing. And whether you do it with me or you do it with somebody else, that's generally the wrong decision. What you need to do is you need to get control of your finances, because if you don't control your finances, they will control you. Promise.
Yeah, and I would think that right now, with everything that's gone on in the last 2 or 3 months, right, Mike, with people being laid off, and of course we all believe the economy is going to come back pretty strong once things settle down, right? That's in between stuff right now. So I imagine a good time for people to say, okay, I need to really take a hard look at this. This is a great time to sit down and really take a good helicopter view of everything, isn't it?
Absolutely, because are we going to look long term? Yeah, we're going to look long term. But step one is survival. Yeah. How do I survive?
Right now.
Right? Because I ain't got no food in my refrigerator, right? How do you do that? How do you pay your rent? How do we keep those people that are trying to collect the loans? How do we keep them off our back, right? These are questions, very, very real questions that we have to answer, and there's ways of doing that. So let's figure out what that way is, and for you, for each individual.
Okay, guys, so we're winding down on the podcast with Mike O'Neill, the Money Coach. And Mike, 2 more things to go through, and that is, are you only working? Obviously, you've got I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it simply because it needs to be put out there. And that is, do you work only with clients in Austin?
Oh, no.
Exactly. See, I knew the answer to that.
Dude, if you got internet, we can talk, right? If you
Right.
got service, we can
I
talk.
think we
That ain't
covered
hard.
that. I think we covered that.
We just need to make sure that we can communicate, and that will be a variety of ways, because we'll communicate via email, we'll communicate via phone, we'll communicate if you want to, and see my smiling face. We can communicate via Zoom or something of that nature. So yeah, anywhere that we have phone service, internet service, we can work. Yeah.
Hey, so you have some 10 rules of riches to finish up our podcast tonight, which are pretty absolute. Can you briefly run through the 10 things for what is the list called and what does it pertain to?
Well, basically, my 10 rules for rich is something that I wrote quite some time ago, and been something that I have kind of put in it with my experience. Dave Ramsey's got his 7 baby steps, which is great. Mine are a little less thou shalt do this, because you've got to be in control of yourself. And anyhow, my 10 rules for riches, I'll run through them real quick. Number 1, you got to pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. And if you don't pay yourself first, what all of us will do is we'll put ourselves at the end, and then we end up not getting ever paid, right? So pay yourself first. Number 2, you got to control your spending. Now, I didn't say you don't spend anything. I said control it. Be smart about it, right? Be smart about it. Number 3, you got to control your debt. Again, I'm not saying you don't ever have any debt, because sometimes we'll buy cars, we'll buy houses, those things of this nature. But control it. Be smart about your debt. So that's number 3. Number 4, create a Murphy fund. Murphy fund, some people call this an emergency fund, but Murphy is in control of the universe. And of course, the Murphy's law is if anything go wrong, it will, and stuff will go wrong. COVID-19 was something that went wrong. It was a big Murphy right law.
Mm-hmm.
Little Murphy's laws that will hit you is, the alternator in your car will go out. Your tires will go bad. A bigger Murphy's law is, and the air conditioner will quit, right? So what a Murphy fund is these are things to take care of Murphy, because he's in control of the universe. So wouldn't it make sense to be able to write a check for that instead of going into debt to take care of those tires or whatever? So create a Murphy fund. Number 5 is buy insurance when it's appropriate. And we can talk about the kind of insurance, and that's life insurance, health insurance, homeowner's insurance, car insurance. And you may not need all of them, or you might, or, you may need them not now, but maybe in the future, this type of thing. So just think about what insurance you need. Number 6 is a big one. And number 6 is invest every month. Invest every month. When do you start investing? We'll start now. The best time to start investing was 10 years ago, right? Well, it's not 10 years ago. So the next best time is today. But if you wait, I'm going to wait till I have some money to invest. Really? Then it's kind of like free beer tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, right? So you need to invest every month. Number 7, kind of important, because some people think if I'm going to get control of my money, what I need to do is I've got to turn into a hermit, kind of like dieting. What I've got to do is I've got to eat nothing for the next month and I'll diet. Now, number 7 says you need to allow time and money to play. I don't want you to be a hermit. I don't want you to have no fun. I don't want you to, that's all important part of your life. Enjoy life. Enjoy life, because life is short. I lost a very dear friend of mine this past week who was just a couple of years older than I am. Life is short, shorter for some than others. So you need to take time and money to play. That's number 7. Number 8 is guard your investments with knowledge and commitment. Be committed to your plan and understand what that plan is. Never invest in something you don't understand. Number 9 is never stop learning. Never stop learning. Continually teach yourself. And then number 10, and this is a big one, I think, is you got to give to others. Whether that's a charity or give with your time or whatever, it doesn't matter, because what we're doing is we're building a plan here to build wealth, right? To build monetary wealth. I get that. We're building a plan to give monetary wealth, but there's a difference between monetary wealth and richness. And I want your life to be rich, right? And
Sure.
And part of that is the richness of doing things for others, as more than just money. It's being rich in blessings, and I really believe that you can be, and all of us can be, blessings to other people. So number 10 is give to others. Make sure that you give to other folks. So anyhow, those real quick are my kind of 10 rules to riches. They've served me very, very well, and I always have people says, well, served you well, really, prove that. What does that mean? Well, like most people, I spent much of my life as a W-2 employee. And we've all heard the stuff that goes on. Well, you can't build wealth as a W-2 employee. I think that's wrong. Because as a W-2 employee, and I'm saying I'm working for somebody else, as a W-2 employee, we were able to generate and create a 7-figure retirement plan. Right? So you can do it. You don't have to go invest in real estate. You don't have to go and build your own business. You can do it that way if you want to. But you can do it as a W-2 employee as well, but you have to build a plan and then work with your plan. And that's what we do. That's what we do. So there you go. There's my 10 rules to riches, and it's worked for me. It's worked very, very well for me.
Hey guys, this is the Austin Biz Buzz. We do build the buzz about Austin business. We got my wonderful friend, and of course the guy that sponsored the show, so I could do editing and stuff throughout the year and pay a little bit for my time. And I wanted to thank you for that. But you guys need to look him up at mkoneal.com, and you need to email him at mike@mkoneal.com, and we'll put his contact information up on the YouTube description and the podcast platform. Mike, man, it's good to talk to you, and thanks for being a guest on kind of your show.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
You guys need to take advantage of Mike. I've known him for years, probably 7, 8, 9 years. It's time flies. And the cool thing is he'll take care of you. And now he's got the Dave Ramsey thing kind of in his back pocket, which kind of enlightened me because I did not know that till tonight. That's awesome. Dude, you're in the right program. So absolutely. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you around the corner next week on the Austin Biz Buzz, where we do build the buzz about Austin business.